some maybe went on the slower group, which in fairness to them, hat off to them. I have absolutely nothing but respect for the guys that go out and do that type of distance. And we got to the cyclorave, so at the other side of the descent, the cyclorave was there, which is, it's really weird. You ride in pitch black, we have the lights on the bike. You're riding in the middle of nowhere. Like, it looks in the countryside, and then pops out the blue as a hotel that's got lights and a disco and a rave. So it's a bit of a weird sight. You know, it's weird enough riding through the night in the middle of nowhere, but then for a pop-up disco to arrive there, you're like, oh, it's quite good. You can feel the buzz and the energy. I mean, I remember thinking to myself, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. So I'm 170 miles in by this point, and I've went really, really good, then really into the hole, then started to climb back out the hole. So we grab a couple of bananas, get to the toilet, fill up the water bottles, and then make a dash for Edinburgh. And there was a guy that, you know when things start to really bug you, and it's not that things are annoying you, but you know you can get irritated at particular things. And I remember feeling pretty irritated, and the guys that were out were just riding so well together and so strong, and I thought, hey man, we're going to make it. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to make it, man. These, like this, we can't come this far, and like me to let go at this point. And there was one of the guys that was there he was an absolute powerhouse. I mean, in fact, all of the guys that were there were pretty impressive. There was a guy that was an absolute powerhouse, and he was doing lots and lots of work in the front. Even for a guy as strong as him, and he'd done the ride before, he got maybe 180 miles in, somebody's light had ran out, so they were exchanging the light over, and pulled into the side of the road, and he said that his backside was red raw because he was, 180 miles in at this point. And I remembered what I had in my jersey, and I grabbed the sachet, and I was like, here, I've got one, I've got a spare sachet. The happiness that guy had in, his smile, the fact that he was getting a bit of relief. And I thought, that's the price that you pay. I mean, this is what I mean, is like, he's around crew, he's worked together, survived together. This guy's done an incredible amount of work in the front. The least he can do is give him a bit of relief with a spare chamois cream. And that was it. We started smashing it, and we came riding into Edinburgh, and we got there, and I remember starting to think, I don't know what it was, like maybe it was just like the shawarma wrap had digested, and then I kept pushing the gels in. So I had, to give you an idea of the amount of fuel that I had 11 energy gels, which have 30 grams of carbs in them. I had the Sturker sachets, I had 8 of those, which have 90 grams of carbs in them. And I had an entire tube of electrolytes, and I had, I think, 11 caffeine bullets that I had in my little bag, and some sports mix, so like pick and mix. And it was just a case of constantly putting that fuel in. And I think what had happened by sort of like 170, 180 miles in is the digestive system started to digest that shawarma wrap, and then the fuel that was sitting on top of that starting to work through my system, and I started to come back alive. And I remember thinking, the combination of, I'm actually starting to feel a bit better. And the longer this ride went on, I could feel it was like it was flushing through my body. I'm like, I'm alive again. I'm back in the game. And then that tied in with, I know that we're only 20 miles out. I can ride 20 miles. And I was starting to feel better, and I was like, right, keep on top of it, keep drinking the carb mix, keep drinking the electrolytes, get another gel in. And it was starting to, even though I was sore, even though I was fatigued, and even though I was naturally tired, the feeling of coming back alive. And what was really powerful about it was, I thought back to thinking about my kids, thinking about my boys, and going, you know what, you pushed through all those times where you could have stopped. That slower group is an option. You didn't crack. You didn't give in on the big climb. Even when you were in a dark place for 50 miles, you still pushed through. And they say that rock bottom's a trampoline. So you've got so much more to give, but you need to push through the mental battle. You need to push through the mind, because the mind's going to convince you that, hey, look, the mind's trying to take care of you. So when it's getting stress and fatigue and you worrying about you, it's like, it's going to try and say, look, you should stop. But you can get out of it. You can get out of the hole. And there is no better place to do it than with people that are doing the same thing as you. And this is what I mean about all the guys that were out there, whether you done the short ride, whether you done the long ride, whether you done the full ride, or whether you gave it a go. there is no better way to share that kind of experience than people that are doing the same with you. Because as a group, we started together and we finished together. And that feeling's incredibly satisfying, because there's an old expression that misery loves company, but so does success. And if you've got people that are there and you see it through and you make it to the end, there is no better feeling. So that was the story of my 210-mile bike ride, or 209.5, whatever it was. An average speed of 19.2 miles an hour, or in new money, a metric, that was 338 kilometres and just under 31 kilometres an hour average speed. So incredible day out. Big shout out to the Livingston Cycling Club. Awesome guys, awesome group, brilliant group to ride with. Wickedly fast, way faster than I thought it was going to be. And like just a really, really good, well represented, a credit. The riders are a credit to their club. They've put the work in, they put the effort in. So a big shout out to them. Big shout out to the fast guys that thrashed me up and down the country, literally, and for doing the hard efforts and pushing through, and just even the little words of encouragement, and helping do the work in the front. Big shout out to them. Massive respect to everything that they put together, and also for being as welcoming, because these guys had never met before. So incredible bunch, and massive respect to them. And if you want to take part in the Ride to the Sun, I would definitely give it the go. It's one of the events that I love taking part in.